Hello, everyone. I'm Simon, co-founder of Deep Care. I will be together with my colleague who gonna join soon. We both like welcoming you and gonna guide you through this webinar and workshop together. Before we start, I see there are three people in the call for the moment. Um, I know we have much more people being signed up. If you would just give a short comment in the chat from where you are joining at the moment. What city, what country? That would be fantastic that we get a little bit of a feeling who's there today. I don't see anything happening in the chat. So in case, I'm not sure if the three people are there listening, as this is planned to be more of an interactive session. It only makes sense we getting started if there's like, if I see like people are there.
Simon?
If yes.
Yep, we're getting some people in the chat now.
Awesome.
Raleigh, Buenos Aires,
Wonderful. There we go.
Vegas.
Sorry, that was my fault. I was in the wrong, like not in the full chat, in the private chat, but no one was, of course, writing private chat messages. So amazing. Cool. Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm about to move to Charlotte, relocating from Germany to Charlotte this month still. So fantastic being connected. And thank you very much for joining now. There's a comment that my voice is a little not loud enough. Let me check if there's anything I can do. John, you hear me well?
I hear you fine.
Okay, then I'm sorry. I would just move forward. So welcome again, everyone. I'm Simon. Maybe John, if you would say a sentence about yourself, and from there I would go in and guide ourselves through that webinar.
Yes, absolutely. Good morning, everybody. My name is John Creighton. I head up the U.S. sales for Deep Care. I'm from the Boston area and really excited to share some information with you folks. I think you're going to get a lot out of it. Obviously, we know that MSK is one of the largest top cost drivers for a lot of companies out there, and we have a unique product that focuses on a really unexplored area that I'm sure you'll all be excited to hear about. So Simon will lead us here, but of course, if you have any questions, just put them in the comment section. I will be monitoring it and make sure they get answered. So great to meet all of you.
Fantastic. Thank you, John. Once more, thank you everyone participating now. And from my side, I'm Simon. I'm one of the co-founders of Deep Care. We are a health tech startup founded in 2020. Myself, I'm together with the other co-founders coming from a tech background. So not originally from health, but working in tech, working in AI and robotics, figuring out on my own how I was enthusiastically working 10 or more hours a day on a desk, ending up in PT sessions and figuring out that even though working at a wonderful employer, super caretaking, but still nothing has reached out to me while I'm being in my bubble and in my tunnel and working heavily on my topics and ending up in PT sessions, ending up having back pain, and ending up realizing that even doing sports in the evenings is not actually helping me to getting rid of these problem which is occurring in sitting there for 10 hours a day like a shrimp. And as so many of us, of you potentially, as people from your employees, are exactly the type of a person that I used to be. After a couple of years working at the desk, ending up in PT sessions, or worse, for example, running into back surgeries and creating other types of MSK costs, which, if you look at the overall numbers, are really one of the cost drivers in all the companies I'm talking to. It's basically one of the top three. There's cancer, there's MSK, there's some others, but these are the top cost drivers, which we are tackling now with a unique new approach. And I want to take you into a few slides now. This is meant to be an interactive session, so there are gonna be a few questions coming for you. Please be active in the chat and like raise every questions you might have. And now I'm sharing my screen. So there we go. I hope it's visible and you all see this picture of like me a couple of years ago sitting at a desk. John, is it visible?
Yes, it is. Sorry,
Okay,
I had him on mute.
wonderful. So the message in short is exactly as written here. We see this guy sitting there. We see ourselves actually sitting there. And we see the message written here. We are not built for this. All of us, we are living in a body which is designed to be moved. And then we normalized it as a society sitting at a desk 10 or more hours a day, in very often neglecting the posture that we are in, the movement patterns that we are in, but also things like using a standing desk in case it's available, otherwise doing maybe some exercise in between, even up to things like hydration or how's the quality of light, noise, and all these things around me, but also how am I actually structured and running throughout the day, how is my back-to-back meetings, how's my recoveries in between, how much focus I'm having, how much I'm drifting into a focus fatigue after a while, and how much am I actually being able to work through a day in a most optimal way in terms of my productivity, but also in terms of my personal life quality, because it's not only the company paying, it's me paying financially, but also in life quality if I'm running into such patterns like this guy here, which we are not built for and which makes us ending up in PT sessions, for example, or even worse. And the problem with this is our body is reacting to it quietly and slowly. If I'm working in a factory and there's a danger of, I don't know, like cutting my hand or so, that's something super urgent and immediate. But if only I look at what happens to my body by sitting in a wrong posture very statically for an hour or so, how slowly on the discs the pressure is growing, how slowly my metabolism, my blood circulations are reacting, and how all these effects are slowly accumulating. There's no alarm, there's no signaling really. All of these are things that start becoming habits. And once they appear, once you start having really a problem, then it's already late, because then in very many times it became chronicle already. And that's what we're seeing in the numbers. This is a number coming from Evernorth, part of Cigna. There are so many other of these numbers coming from Mercer, from United Healthcare, and from all of those who, like the carriers, seeing the actual numbers. And what we're seeing there is this is a problem affecting 1 out of 2 adults in the States and creating, this number is 420 billion treatment costs. There are other numbers going even up to more than 500 billion MSK treatment costs, depending on what statistics you're looking at. But what they all have in common, it's It's the most expensive chronic condition and treatment costs that we're paying for, which we are paying for in our private, like comfort in life, but what we are also paying for as companies, in the end being the ones carrying these costs. And if then we look at how in modern life and work life, how we went into every bits and bytes into measuring in finance, the flow of capital, in manufacturing, the precision, in sports and performance. We have lots of measurings, but then we have people sitting there for 10 or more hours a day, and we just kind of neglecting this as a huge problem in our whole society and in each of our companies. So that brings me to that strong saying here, the desk is the largest unmeasured health determinant in modern organizations. And that cannot be outtrained by doing my workout in the evening. So at that moment, I'm stopping sharing for a second. I will share something else a little later. At that moment, I would like to raise a question. It will be like two two questions actually. Number one is about yourselves. How many hours a day are you personally spending sitting on a desk in an ordinary workday, of course? Please just type a number into the chat. There come, first numbers are coming. 10, plus 10. 7, 14. Whoa. Welcome to our target group. So potentially more are coming. That would be actually fantastic. And 7, that's actually good. What we're seeing here, a range starting from 6, 7, 8, work and school, up to plus than 10 is exactly also what we're seeing in the statistics. There are so many statistics about everything, also about how much time do people in average spend sitting on a desk once they entered into work life. And we exactly seeing an like that range, even up to like we're seeing here 14. I just recently talked to someone working at one of the big law firms in the States. They easily seeing such numbers every day on a constant base. And this is something where problems are accumulating slowly, little by little over time, creating massive amounts of costs. And now my next question is, besides being hopefully sportive and healthy in all these aspects in the evenings and outside work, is there anything that you have in place personally or in the company which is exactly addressing all these root cause of how you spend all these hours of sitting at the desk every day? Are there solutions in place that you are actively using? Please feel free bringing them also as a short comment into the chat. So let's see if more is coming. For now, it's nothing. Move every 40 minutes. Really good. So,
I'll make a comment here, Simon. So you're aware of this, but we were speaking with a large law firm, and I had never heard of this, but they have ergonomic champions where these are folks that will go to different offices or cubicles and do the measurements and track and their posture and whatnot. Obviously, it's not ideal because it's just a one-time thing, but making sure the chair height is correct, desk height is correct, sit and stand desks if they would want one of those. So I think the point of your question here is that there's not many solutions out there, but I thought that was really interesting. At least they're trying, right?
Yes, really good point. So I guess what exactly you said and what Diana is writing in the chat kind of summarizes the two things that you can do about it so far. Either you have very, I would say, punctual solutions like a person who's going around, and that person, of course, can't be everywhere and at any time. So that's more like an awareness creation here and there from time to time. Or you have people which are super aware, like obviously Diana is writing in the chat, who's like knowing what to do and having the discipline to really do it. And then you're having the huge majority of people who just completely neglecting it, creating exactly these statistics. Um, and now, as Deep Care, we are coming with a new type of a solution addressing exactly that fundamental root cause of how can we reach in a scalable and sustainable way to all these people that actually a change is happening. And again, I'm sharing my screen now. Sorry, it takes a second. Actually, I just saw it before. Now I don't see the chat anymore because I'm sharing my screen. But I just saw there was another comment coming, providing sit and stand desks to everyone. Before I go into what we're doing, I would just love to give a short comment on that. We have a very scientific evaluation done by a university, which they figured out that in an ordinary workday that was run with several hundred people in two bigger corporates, um, everyone being equipped with a standing desk, the average time people spent standing was 8% of their work time. And having the solution applied that now I'm showing you, that changed to 22.6%, which on an average 8 hours working day was up 7 minutes plus each day in a continuous manner. So that's actually one of the things that we're trying to tackle to reduce musculoskeletal healthcare costs through daily behavior change, as it is written here, and as this is already a teaser, what it's leading to. So what we're doing at DeepCare is we have created a new type of an AI health coach for desk workers. Before I go into the theory, I just quickly unplug mine, which I'm having at my desk, and show it to you. It's a little new type of a device. It looks a little bit like a smartphone or a tablet. It's not, it's a new type of a device because it includes all the sensors needed, which is mainly an infrared sensor, not a camera. I'm not being filmed. And it includes several other sensors, like a sensor which is tracking the quality of the air. There's another sensor which is tracking how loud it is in the room. There's another sensor tracking the quality of light. There's another sensor tracking how a sit-stand desk being used. And that central sensor with the infrared is checking my posture, but it is also checking on patterns like how is my meeting pattern throughout the day, how are my recovery patterns throughout the day, and several more. So it overall creates a 360-degree holistic view on how am I spending my day. And this device is not being connected to the internet while usage, so everything is on the device only. And it then kind of locally, with 7 different AI algorithms running on the device, creates an understanding. And based on this, throughout with the screen, which is inside here, which also this picture shows it a bit, gives me a live feedback, a live coaching, and it shows me my patterns once in a while and allows me to choose my very personal goals, which then it guides me on, so that slowly, little by little, from where I'm starting, not taking too two huge steps at a time, but slowly developing into being that person that I'd like to be. And by thereby addressing the actual root cause of my daily behaviors, that actually is the thing that it needs to, in a sustainable way, address these huge cost problem that we just saw. And we heard some of these available solutions that are mainly being used today, like there are standing desks, there are ergonomic assessments, there's physical therapy, there are wearables. All of them are fantastic solutions and are actually needed, but all of them are not cost reductions. They are actually add-on costs. I haven't seen a single of all these companies, hundreds of companies we're working with and speaking to, that could prove actual cost reduction by applying such solutions. While, of course, it does make a lot of sense applying them, um, but what we are changing now is, or what the new approach is bringing that we are adding here, is that we can actually change the behavior every working hour, attacking the root cause of MSK spendings, and payment follows measured outcomes. So that is something which we can bound our whole business model to, that we can actually prove real reductions in costs for MSK. We're having some proof here. We have several studies, independent studies. One is actually at the moment underway at UC Berkeley, as we are coming from Europe and expanding at the moment in the States. Many of the studies are also coming from Europe, but really like high-class institutions, like for example the Munich Technical University, which is kind of the MIT of Europe. And just going into that number, which already I showed earlier, adding that other number, what we did, for example, with this study, it was a study running for 2 years. It included 2,300 participants in 50 different companies. And what it did is it looked at how many treatments and absenteeism based on treatments happened 12 months before applying the solution and from applying the solutions onwards, which ended up into a reduction of 56% of treatments and thereby absence based on MSK problems related to spending all day long at a desk. For that solution, also this year at the CES, the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, kind of the global central innovation show on planet Earth, we were awarded with the digital health, the innovation award in the digital health category. And we are running already like live in more than 300 enterprises throughout Europe and also in the States. That's kind of the one thing that I can do, is kind of explaining these in theory. Of course, loving to go deeper and loving to see all the questions that come up, I'm pretty sure, in the chat now. But what I mainly want to encourage you to, because whatever I'm going to tell you, you actually have to see it yourself. Once you're having such a health companion at your desk and really realize how much of a change this makes, and then also see how we have created a application model, how that can, in a very low effort, easy and scalable way, being applied to employees, then you're going to really see the needle moving, and you're going to experience on your own how much sense this makes. So what I want to encourage you is that you scan the QR code, you sign up for our 4 weeks evaluation kit, which basically means you get that package that you see here, which is the device basically being sent to the address that you put in here for free. You are run through a 4 weeks testing phase, and the only thing you have to do for it is you get a return slip for sending it back afterwards, and we're gonna approach you for a feedback. So if these two things, sending it back afterwards and providing us your feedback, is something that you're okay with, anything else is like not happening, there's no spam following this or anything, I would highly encourage you, scan the code, sign up for the trial, and test these by yourself. Maybe last comment, I was able speaking and presenting this new type of solution on the Wellbeing at Work conference in New York earlier this year in March. There were around about 80 companies, really like the top Fortune companies of the US attending there. I had a little bit of more speaking time there, but kind of going through everything. And I shared also this, and 42 companies signed up for such a trial, evaluated it, and many of them having us into active usage now. So only showing you that you won't be the first one, you won't be the only one, but you will be part of a revolution. So having that said, I will stop sharing my screen. John, you please add whatever you have in mind being added. And I'm so curious seeing every questions in the chat.
Yeah, very good, Simon. I think you covered a lot of areas. I will mention we've got a few folks that are not in the US. So we are headquartered in Germany. So for those folks in Buenos Aires and Nigeria, we would certainly encourage you folks as well to test the device and if it would make sense for your groups. And I don't know if you can see the comments, Simon, but there's an interesting one at the end there by Ahmad.
I'm
Implementing a real-time timer that
cool.
rings on
Yeah,
all workstations to ring
yeah.
and call everyone together for a 5-minute stretching exercise after every 2 hours of consecutive work behind the desk. Love that.
So that's awesome. I'm actually wearing like that's a different type of solution, but I'm wearing a V-Things, which is kind of, it looks like a watch, but it's actually like a tracker, health tracker, which is also I guess many of you are having like an Aura Ring or an Whoop or an Fitbit or any type of a smartwatch. Also getting such hints once in a while here and there. What we basically see is that such types of solutions are really good for those that are deeply into it, which really only need the reminder once in a while, but all the discipline of doing it is there. But also what we see is with the high maturity of people not having such discipline and being rather reactive to once a problem appears, what it needs is a kind of a deeper analysis. And for example, what the device does is it gives me the hint, for example, at the moment, hey, Simon, you've been sitting statically the last 1.5 hours without any movement. Your metabolism is down by 90%. If you continue like this, you're gonna be like running into like the problems. And if you are now following me, for example, with an exercise which is then directly being shown on the device and fitting to my actual behavior, there are 180 different exercises on the device, which can then given to me fitting to what actual behavior I had at the very moment. So this type of very personalized, and of course, with the information which the device has, when is the person, for example, in a meeting? When is the person having a focus time? When is a good fit that I actually pass this on, so that we turning a little away from timers up do something, which then in 90% of the time comes at a bad timing, towards really getting very personalized messages, personalized in the terms of when the timing is, but also in terms of what it gives me as biofeedback and then gives me as a doable little thing in between at that very moment, shown on the screen so that I can just follow it. Curious if there are any more questions. I'm sorry, I would love really talking to all of you. The tooling unfortunately only allows the chat function, but please feel free adding any of more questions.
I'll also add, Simon, I'm just going to put my email address in the comment section
Oh
as
yeah,
well. So if any folks do have any additional questions, timelines, costs, anything like that, maybe more of a personal conversation, more than happy to have those conversations with you folks. Simply just send me an email. Be happy to respond.
All right, I guess I'm curious to see later on who signed up, and I'm already wishing everyone who signed up for own trial a really good experience with it. And of course, anyone reaching out to John via the email address being shown here are highly welcome. And for the rest of today, I'm wishing all of you a fantastic day. And thank you for taking the time looking into something new. The world needs people giving new approaches, new chances to solve such solutions. Thank you.